So hopefully you had a chance to try these examples on your own. So we're just going to kind of go through these pretty quickly. A lot of these problems are just simple applications of those surface area of circular solid formulas. So keep that in mind as we're working. Also, what I'd like you to do is make sure you leave all of your answers in terms of pi. Do not give me a rounded decimal answer. I always like answers exact in this class. So looking at example 1, we have a cone, and first it asks us to find the lateral area. So recall that lateral area of a cone formula is the same as the lateral area of a pyramid. So it's equal to the perimeter of the base times the slant height divided by 2. First of all, we need to find the length of the slant height since that is not given. Now I noticed right away that this is a triple because 14 is the same thing as 2 times 7. 48 is the same thing as 2 times 24. So if we call her back to chapter 9, the triple, 7, 24, 25, and then we need to multiply that by 2. So the slant height of this cone is equal to 50. Now, to find the perimeter of the base, since the base is a circle, to find the perimeter of a circle, we're going to use our circumference formula. So we have 2 times pi times the radius squared. And I know the radius is 14, so 2 times pi times 14. When I go to simplify this, I get 28 pi as the perimeter of the base. So to find that lateral surface area, I have 28 pi times the slant height, which is 50, and then divide that by 2 to get my final answer for the lateral surface area, which is equal to 700 pi units squared. Now, next I need to find the area of the base. Now, since the base is a circle, I'm going to use the area of a circle formula, which is pi r squared. And again, the radius is 14, so I just need to square 14 to get my final answer of 196 pi units squared. And then finally, to find the total surface area of this cone, I just need to take the lateral area and add the area of that one base. So I'm just going to add those two numbers together, 700 plus 196 pi, to get my final answer of 896 pi units squared. Number 2, in example 2, we have a sphere with a radius of 12. So to calculate out the total surface area of a sphere, I'm going to use my formula for pi r squared. And then I'm going to substitute 12 in for the radius, and then go ahead and square that to get 144. And then I just have to multiply 144 by 4 to get my final answer of 576 pi units squared. Okay, moving on to example 3, I have a cylinder in example 3. So to calculate out the lateral area of a cylinder, that's the same as the formula to calculate out the lateral area of a prism. The perimeter of the base times the height. To calculate out the perimeter of the base, I'm going to use my circumference formula, 2 pi times the radius. So I get 2 pi times 5, which is equal to 10 pi. So 10 pi times the height, which is 16, to get my final answer of 160 pi units squared for the lateral area of this cylinder. To calculate out the area of the base, I'm going to use the area of a circle formula, pi r squared. I'm going to substitute 5 in for my radius to get a final answer of 25 pi units squared for the area of my base. To calculate out the total surface area of this cylinder, since there are two bases, I need to make sure that I take that lateral area and I add the area of two of the bases. So I have 160 plus 2 times the area of the base, which was 50, or 160 plus, oops, I made a mistake. I'm working out of myself. The area of the base was 25, not 50. So 2 times the area of the base is 50 to get that final answer of 210 pi units squared. And those should both have pi's with them. And there we go. I'm working a little fast here. There we go. Now, in example 4, you will see some problems similar to this one. Notice they've taken 2 circular solids and they've put them together to get this shape. So first it's asking us to calculate out the lateral surface area of this shape. Now we have a cone sitting on top of a cylinder. So to calculate out the lateral area, I need to find the lateral area of the cone and add that to the lateral area of the cylinder. That will give me my lateral area of the entire shape. So recall that the formula for the lateral area of a cone is equal to the perimeter of the base times the slant height divided by 2. The lateral area of the cylinder is equal to the perimeter of the base times the height. So to calculate out the perimeter of this base, I'm going to use my circumference formula, so 2 pi r, and I know the radius is 8, so I'm just going to since I don't have a lot of room, I'm just going to go straight to that final answer, which would be 16 pi. So I have 16 pi. The slant height of the cone is 17, and then I'm going to divide that by 2. Now the perimeter of the base is the same for the cylinder, so it would be 16 pi times the height of the cylinder, which is 10. So to go ahead and simplify both of these, if I multiply 16 times 17 and then I divide that by 2, I get the lateral area of the cone is 136 pi. Plus the lateral area of the cylinder is 160 pi. And when I add those together, I get my final answer to be 296 pi units squared as the lateral area of this shape. Now to calculate out the area of the base, I'm going to use the area of a circle formula, pi r squared. I'm going to substitute 8 in for my radius to get the area of the base equal to 64 pi units squared. So that would give me the area of my base. Now to calculate out the total area of this composite figure, now this is where a lot of times people make mistakes. So if you take a look up here, notice that this base of the cone is actually going to be inside of the figure. So we would not include the upper base of this cone inside of our figure. We would only include the one base at the bottom in our total surface area. So I'm going to take that lateral area and I'm going to add the area of just one base, not 2 bases, to get my final answer for the area to be equal to 360 pi units squared. Moving on, if we take a look at our last example, example 5, it says to find the radius of a hemisphere that has a surface area of 192 pi. Now this one's a little bit different because we actually are going to need to work backwards. It's not asking us to find the surface area, it's giving us the surface area and asking us to find the radius. So recall that to calculate the lateral area of a hemisphere, that's equal to 2 pi r squared. Now, because it doesn't say what type of surface area, remember that we always assume it's talking about the total, unless it specifies and says, find the lateral. So really, it's giving us the total surface area to be equal to 192 pi. So to calculate the total area of a hemisphere, I have to add the area of that one base. So the total surface area of a hemisphere is equal to 3 pi r squared. So now we're just going to substitute 192 pi in for that total surface area. So that's equal to 3 pi r squared. And then we want to solve for r. Right away I notice the pi's are going to cancel out, and then I can divide by 3. Now 192 divided by 3 is 64. That's equal to our radius squared. And then if I take the square root to get my radius, I get my radius equal to 8 units. So that would be my final answer for this one, because it was asking me to find the radius of the hemisphere, which is 8. So hopefully now you have a better idea of how to use these surface area formulas on circular solids. Bring any questions you have into class the next day.